works well as a sowing tool because the seeds will line up in the corner of the box and drop out one by one. Hold the box at a slight angle and use a gentle tapping motion to release the seeds from the box. A similar tool can be made out of a finger brace, which can be purchased from a drugstore. Tap it gently while moving it from plug to plug so that only one seed falls out at a time. There are also various hand seeding tools available from mail-order nurseries. This handheld seeder uses a clicking vibration to move the seeds down the channel. The seeds pass through a gate which can be adjusted for different sizes of seeds. Once a calendula seed has been dropped in each cell, we can top off the plugs with a thin layer of germination medium. Vermiculite is sometimes used as this final covering. Vermiculite retains moisture very well and is especially useful for seeds that are sensitive to changes in moisture content. Now we're ready to water in the seeds. A misting nozzle provides the softest method of watering. The flat is now ready for the germination bench. Many flowers and vegetables can be sown directly into field soils. Although direct sowing into field soils is not usually as successful as growing inside a greenhouse, some plants such as California poppies do not transplant well and are much more successful if sown directly in the field. Commercial seeding machines use a vacuum system to pick up seeds from a holding bin and release them into plug trays. Small-scale nurseries would find this semi-automatic vacuum seeder sufficient for keeping pace with most sowing schedules. This machine requires a worker to manually operate the hand lever. Each time the hand lever is pushed down and forward, one row of a plug tray is planted. Vacuum seeding machines can be adjusted to handle most types of plug trays. This machine can also be calibrated for different seed sizes by changing the nozzles that pick up the seeds. The various colored nozzles represent different aperture sizes. Smaller nozzle apertures will be used for smaller seeds. The larger automatic vacuum seeders allow a commercial grower to rapidly sow vast quantities of seed. These fast-paced machines are specifically designed to be used with plug trays. Vacuum seeders work best with seeds that have been coated or pelletized. The yellow coating on these petunia seeds makes them uniform and allows the seed to easily attach and release from the vacuum cylinder. The coat on the seed may also contain a small dose of fertilizer or a fungicide to protect the germinating seed from diseases. The vacuum seeder drops one seed or pellet into each plug cell. The plug tray then moves along a conveyor belt and is covered with vermiculite or another medium. Finally, the plug tray is gently sprayed with water and moved to a germination chamber or directly into the greenhouse. While we're waiting for our newly sown seeds to sprout, Let's take a look at the special germination requirements needed by some plants. Understanding the many germination requirements of different seed species is one of the most complex aspects of propagation by seeds. Some of the most common of these special requirements include scarification, soaking, stratification, light exposure, and darkness. Seeds such as lupins and some other plants in the pea family, Fabaceae, have an extra thick or water-resistant seed coat. In cases such as this, scarification is necessary. This can be done by nicking or filing the seed coat, or by simply clipping the tip of the seed coat with shears. In general, plants that require scarification will also benefit from an overnight soaking in plain water. Soaking the seed should result in a visible swelling of the seed. Stratification involves treating seeds with a period of cold, dark, and damp conditions, followed by the basic germination requirements of warmth, dampness, and oxygen. Stratification can be done any time of the year by placing sown seeds in a refrigerator and covering them with plastic for 1 to 3 months. This treatment effectively mimics what happens to seeds in nature during the changing of the seasons. Seed stratification is required by many flowering perennials and woody plants such as Campsis radicans, daylilies, Italian cypress, and many pine species. Gaillardia, pomegranate, and fuchsias are examples of plants where light is required for germination. These seeds must not be covered by the germination soil mix. Sow seeds such as these of a pomegranate on the surface of a soil and water in gently with a misting nozzle so as not to bury the seed. Still, other plants require totally dark conditions for germination. Seeds of bachelor buttons and coriander will benefit from additional darkness after sowing. Any special treatment should be noted on the label of the flat, including the date the treatment was started. Typically, a label will include the sowing date and the plant variety name. After labeling out our flat of bachelor buttons, we'll cover the seeds with soil, add a black plastic sheet over the top of the tray, or place the sown seeds in a very dark room. As soon as these plants germinate, they must be immediately transferred to a well-lit location to continue proper development. Perishable seeds present a different challenge. Perishable or short-lived seeds must be sown immediately because their viability or their ability to germinate will decrease rapidly. Some examples of perishable seeds include primitive species like magnolia, as well as tropical species such as strelitzia. Some of the less common techniques for overcoming germination problems include the need for fire, or sometimes just smoke, the need for rinsing due to chemical inhibition from the seed coat, and chemical inhibition from other plants known as allelopathy, or simply the time required to overcome true dormancy. Now that we know how to deal with hard to sprout seeds, let's move on to the topic of seedling culture and transplanting techniques. The seeds will need to be checked periodically throughout the day to make sure that germination medium does not dry out. This is one of the most common forms of germination failure, especially with plugs. Some common pest problems encountered during germination are birds and rodents. Aviary netting is needed to prevent birds from eating the tender young sprouts as they emerge from the soil. If seeds are sown in a greenhouse or other closed structure, birds will not be a problem. However, traps may need to be set for mice or other rodents that will dig up the seeds before they have even sprouted. Once our seeds have sprouted, we will usually need to start gradually cutting back on the amount of water applied. At this stage, we need to be concerned with a group of fungi which cause a fatal disease known as damping off. Damping off occurs when a young seedling suddenly wilts or topples over near the soil line. On close examination, we find a dark ring around the damaged stem. There are many soil-borne fungi which can cause damping off. Some of the more common types include Rhizoctonia, Pythium, Phytophthora, and Fusarium. These fungi can be controlled by fungicides, but good horticultural practices can also prevent the conditions which encourage damping off. As we mentioned, starting out with a sterile medium will prevent many disease problems. Watering should be done early in the morning so the soil surface has a chance to dry off before evening. One technique for combating plug diseases is to brush off the seedlings in the afternoon. Many seedling diseases, such as powdery mildew, will start as fungal spores which germinate in the film of water found on the leaf surface. This brushing technique will knock off any standing water so that the leaf surface might dry off before evening. In addition, providing good air circulation and controlling excess humidity will help control many diseases, including damping off. As soon as there are 1 or 2 sets of true leaves and the roots have reached the bottom of the tray, then the seedlings are ready to be transplanted. Plugs can be removed from the tray by using tweezers, a small shrimp fork, or by pushing the plug up through the hole in the bottom of the cell. Water the plants into their new containers, even if the soil was wet before transplanting. This ensures good contact between soil and roots, and also reduces transplant shock. When the plants have grown into their larger containers and can easily hold onto the medium when removed from the pots, then they are ready for transfer into the field. If the plants have been grown in the greenhouse, it's important to set the plants outside for a week or 2 before transplanting into the field. This technique is called hardening off. In this program, we've looked at the many aspects of propagation by seeds. We've studied the basic anatomy of germinating seeds, as well as the process of germination. The essential tools and equipment for sowing were also demonstrated. We've seen how vacuum machines are not only used to harvest seeds in the field, but also to sow seeds in commercial nurseries. We've studied many sowing techniques and seedling culture and finished by showing how and when the seedlings should be transplanted. We hope the combination of botany, biology, and horticulture covered in this program has sparked the interest of our viewers to continue studying the fascinating world of seeds.